Hi guys, welcome to ANIMEized. This is the English translated version of the novel Throneofseal. The novel differs slightly from the Chinese animation or donghua. If you want more of these videos, please smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Enjoy and have a blessed day.
Long HaoChen nods, then looks at the black-clad youth who had exchanged glances with Long HaoChen earlier. The black-clad youth walks slowly to him, nodding slightly. "I'll bow, be careful, okay." The black-clad youth replies simply, then lifts off the ground, hovering gently in the air, followed by Yi, Lin Xiao, and other young, powerful members of the demon race who were part of this mission. On the other side, humans do the same, with Long HaoChen and caier positioned toward the rear of their group, and each group of 10 advancing toward Dream Temple from 2 directions. The bushes growing on the lake surface are incredibly resilient, and it feels solid to walk on them. But within 100 meters, both sides have reached the shore in an instant. "Ah Bao?" That person is named Ah Bao. Long HaoChen hears Huang Shou's words clearly, but he can't see through the black-clad youth. However, as the leader of the opposing group, his strength and abilities are likely formidable. On the side of the Temple Alliance, there is no designated leader among the 10, because once inside Dream Temple, everyone is on their own, and the 2 groups are separated by about 10 meters. Each entering Dream Temple through the gaps between the massive pillars. When they truly arrive in front of the temple, the previously dense life force becomes faint, and the temple in front of them gives a feeling of ethereal emptiness. Fresh air washes over them, devoid of any impurities, but also lacking the previous scent of vegetation. Yet, there is always a vague sense of something unusual here. Long HaoChen holds caier's hand and follows behind the others as they walk toward the temple, whispering softly. "Caier, our top priority when we get inside is to regroup. If we encounter danger, don't be reckless. Activate the Dream Stone and leave Dream Paradise." Seeing the deep concern in his eyes, caier, with her mouth hidden behind her veil, smiles with a touch of charm and says softly, "Don't worry. With you by my side, I won't act recklessly." Long HaoChen embraces her waist, and the 2 of them truly enter the interior of Dream Temple. They are also the last to enter. Upon entering Dream Temple, they see nothing but green, an endless expanse of green. What catches their eye is a green filled with dreamlike colors, and there is nothing else besides green. The soft green light seems like the most primal form of life, gently pulsating as if it were breathing, according to what Ling Xiao told them. As long as they step into this green light, they will officially enter Dream Paradise. With a step, a halo of light flickers, and Long HaoChen and caier have disappeared into the green light. As soon as they entered the light, Long HaoChen immediately felt a gentle spiritual power enveloping him, but caier, who had been holding his hand, disappeared with it. The green around him became even more intense, but everything seemed to pass by behind him. It was like riding a flying magical beast swiftly through clouds and mist. Long HaoChen closed his eyes, silently feeling the changes around him, and he noticed that his spiritual power couldn't leave the gentle energy that protected him. After a short while, suddenly, everything before him cleared up, and he instinctively took a step forward, finding himself in a different world. The sounds of insects and birds accompanied a refreshing fragrance. Outside Dream Temple, Han Qian quietly joined the temple knights, and approached a tall temple knight, whispering, "HaoChen has already entered. With his intelligence, plus the protection of the Dream Stone, there shouldn't be any danger. Are you waiting here for him to come out, or are you going to do something else first?" If Yin Shuifeng and Ling Xiao had heard his somewhat respectful tone at this moment, they would surely be greatly surprised. Because these temple knights were all wearing Mithril Foundation battle armor, their faces were not visible, and a deliberately subdued voice said, "It's okay, I'll wait here for him to come out. There are quite a few powerful beings from the demon clan this time, but with me here, I believe they won't dare to act recklessly. Huang Shao has already sensed my presence. His position in the Black Dragon Guard is extremely high. He is the true confidant of the Demon God Emperor, and his strength is comparable to the top 10 demon gods. Moreover, apart from Demon God Emperor himself and the 2 demon gods of stars and moon, the others dare not claim to be able to defeat him decisively. Without my deterrent, this guy might take action." If it weren't for the fact that more than 20 light clusters were drifting in the distant sky and scattering in all directions in an instant, Long HaoChen might have really thought he had returned to the Dream Forest. The green light had already disappeared, turning into a faint green ball of light floating behind him. Ling Xiao had told him that if he wanted to return to Dream Temple, he would need to inject at least 5,000 spiritual power into this ball of light. After injecting spiritual power, he would then face the final test of Dream Paradise. Only those who passed would be able to return safely. On the other hand, using the Dream Stone would allow for a direct return. The more than 20 light clusters that scattered in the distant sky immediately caught Long HaoChen's attention, and he certainly knew what they were. Ling Xiao had carefully instructed them that these light clusters were the spirit furnaces that appeared in Dream Temple, and they would appear the moment they entered Dream Paradise, then scatter to various locations within Dream Paradise. So, it was best to observe their positions at this moment. However, Long HaoChen didn't immediately follow them. He just took a careful look, roughly memorized the directions in which the light clusters scattered, and then stood still, channeling spiritual power from within his body to his chest. To be honest, Long HaoChen was extremely nervous at this moment, and he had no assurance that he could establish contact with the Tower of Eternity within Dream Paradise. After all, this place was left behind by the goddess of nature, while the Tower of Eternity was created by a necromancer. Even if, as he speculated, the Tower of Eternity was an artifact itself, it was definitely inferior to the goddess of nature. In this situation, it was hard to say whether he could establish contact with the Tower of Eternity through Dream Paradise, and if he failed, all their preparations would go to waste. This was also the crucial reason why Long HaoChen had come here with caier instead of asking her to give up the competition. Caier had entered Dream Paradise with him, so even if they couldn't establish contact with the Tower of Eternity, at least there were 2 of them inside, which would give them a chance to obtain more spirit furnaces. On the other hand, if it were just him alone, he definitely wouldn't be able to get more. This was related to the final test and crisis that Ling Xiao had sternly informed them about. A faint light flickered, and a hint of icy brilliance appeared in Long HaoChen's eyes. A golden halo began to spread from his chest. It was the eternal melody. Within this dream paradise, there were 4 predominant elements: light, water, earth, and a rare and unique wood element, with the wood element being particularly powerful in places with vegetation, but weakened in other areas. It was known as the element of life and was exclusive to nature. Most of the spirit furnaces that had scattered in the sky just now were of these 4 elements. Now, drawn by the attraction of the eternal melody, a dense light element surged towards Long HaoChen, and the burning sensation in his chest grew stronger. Everything around him began to blur. Long HaoChen nervously felt the changes in his body, perhaps because he was in Dream Paradise. This time he actually felt the process of the spatial rules being disrupted. The rich light elements, released by the eternal melody, were quietly opening a door, and during the process of opening this spatial door, it was entirely following the rules of light element fluctuations within Dream Paradise, giving the impression that the door itself was a part of Dream Paradise. The spatial portal slowly opened, but Long HaoChen's spiritual power was being consumed at an astonishing rate. It was worth noting that he had never experienced any consumption when opening the portal to the Tower of Eternity in the past. However, this time, almost half of his spiritual power had disappeared in an instant, and it was still increasing. An uncontrollable feeling caused cold sweat to bead on Long HaoChen's forehead, and the situation he least wanted to happen was to exhaust all his spiritual power and still fail to establish communication with the Tower of Eternity. Fortunately, luck was on his side. Just when he had about 1,000 spiritual power remaining, his figure suddenly became illusory, and with a flash of golden light, he disappeared into thin air. In the next moment, a familiar aura of death pervaded, closing in around his body, but the eternal melody also began to rapidly absorb the exclusive light element of the Tower of Eternity to help him recover his spiritual power. It was a success. Long HaoChen was overjoyed, and he took 3 steps to enter the Tower of Eternity. His companions had been waiting here, and they were all in their best condition when they entered. They had waited in this place filled with the aura of death for quite some time, and each of them was becoming impatient. When they saw Long HaoChen appear, they naturally rejoiced and cheered. "Leader, did it work?" Shima Xian asked eagerly. Long HaoChen nodded and said, "It should be fine, but it consumed quite a bit of my spiritual power during the teleportation. Teleporting with you all might further increase this consumption, so I'll first recover my strength, and then we can proceed immediately. Time waits for no one, and I'm sure those in Dream Paradise have already started to take action. If we don't hurry, we might fall behind. After all, there are only so many spirit furnaces, and no one wants to settle for just one." Sitting down cross-legged, Long HaoChen fully opened his spiritual power, and quickly began to recover his spiritual power. However, even with his level of cultivation, it took him a full half-hour to completely restore the spiritual power he had expended earlier. "Come on, Lin Xin, give me some more of those greater returning spiritual pills. I'm not sure how much spiritual power it will take to teleport all of you." Taking the greater returning spiritual pills handed to him by Lin Xin, Long HaoChen led his companions out of the Tower of Eternity, and immediately initiated the teleportation. As he had expected, teleporting back was equally challenging, and it consumed a tremendous amount of energy. After taking 6 greater returning spiritual pills in succession and nearly depleting his own spiritual power, they finally teleported under the cover of the illusionary golden light. With a flash of light, they were instantly greeted by the dense and fresh air. It lifted everyone's spirits. "Is this Dream Paradise? It's truly beautiful," Chen Yinair exclaimed in admiration. Long HaoChen said, "Stay close to me. We need to find spirit furnaces immediately. It's getting late, and I hope we have some luck. Let's go." As he spoke, he didn't even take a break to recover his spiritual power. He immediately led his companions in a specific direction, moving swiftly. At the same time, the light elemental elf, Attain, was released by him, helping him recover his spiritual power. In the environment of Dream Paradise, his recovery of spiritual power was much faster than in the Tower of Eternity. The dual effects of the eternal melody and Yating, combined with his own spiritual sea, meant he didn't need to rest deliberately. After all, he was only expending spiritual power. But his mental state remained robust. Long HaoChen's choice of direction was deliberate. Based on their earlier observations, it was clear that memorizing the attributes of so many spirit furnaces in an instant was impossible. However, he could remember the general directions most spirit furnaces flew in. He had chosen the direction where the most spirit furnaces had flown. And it seemed that the distances between them weren't too great, which gave them a better chance of finding more spirit furnaces. Long HaoChen noticed that, when his companions followed him here, each of them had gained a green light sphere around them. Obviously, if they obtained spirit furnaces here, it would be impossible to use the Tower of Eternity to teleport everyone away. Ling Xiao had told him that if they encountered danger, they could escape using the Dream Gem, but if they had obtained spirit furnaces inside, the Dream Gem would become ineffective. This was because obtaining a spirit furnace meant they had established a connection with the Dream Temple, and they had to undergo the Dream Temple's trial before leaving. Long HaoChen had considered this issue. If they ultimately obtained spirit furnaces and passed the trial, he planned to teleport them to the Tower of Eternity before leaving. The Alliance had powerful individuals watching over the Tower of Eternity, so the demons wouldn't dare approach the Dream Temple easily. As Grandfather Ling Xiao had said, the Dream Temple had strict limitations regarding 10,000 units of spiritual power. A 9th-ranked powerhouse had nearly perished here in the past, but luckily, they had escaped in time. Although caier wasn't with them right now, the 6 of them naturally maintained their usual battle formation. Long HaoChen was in the front, Shima Xian and Wan Yuanyuan on the left and right. Lin Xin and Qin Yin in the middle, and Han Yu brought up the rear. Dream Paradise could truly be described as a paradise on Earth. Wherever they went, various rare plants were abundant, and Lin Xin occasionally had them stop to collect some valuable plants he recognized. Judging by the look of delight on his face, it was clear they were making a good harvest. Long HaoChen didn't rush him. For his companions, the top priority of entering Dream Paradise was ensuring everyone's safe return. Only after that could they think about gaining benefits. These herbs were directly obtainable, so they naturally took priority. As for the spirit furnaces, they would have to rely on luck. The group continued to walk, stopping from time to time, but they were heading in a specific direction, after all. Indeed, flying was impossible within Dream Paradise. Even Yating, who could blend seamlessly with the environment, couldn't fly higher than about 5 meters before being restrained. However, her presence greatly benefited Long HaoChen. After they arrived here, Yating's abilities seemed to have been enhanced. At the very least, her gathering spirit halo was nearly twice as effective as usual. Within a quarter of an hour, Long HaoChen had fully replenished his expended spiritual power. Moreover, with Yating's assistance, Long HaoChen's perception had increased significantly. He could sense spiritual power fluctuations within a radius of at least a kilometer. Extraordinary and rare plants, as well as crystal-clear streams winding through the forest, and occasional gentle mists, all added to the enchanting beauty of the place. The mist wasn't a combination of dust and water, but pure liquid elemental essence. Light elemental mist was pale gold, wood elemental mist was light green, water elemental mist was light blue, earth elemental mist was light yellow, and occasionally there were mists of other elemental colors. It was dreamlike and exceptionally beautiful. Moreover, when they walked into mists that matched their own attributes, they immediately felt refreshed, and their spiritual power surged intensely. There was even a subtle enhancement effect. It made them eager to sit down and cultivate immediately. Unfortunately, these elemental mists moved, so it was difficult to sit and absorb them. Long HaoChen was an exception. He didn't need to absorb anything himself, as Yating could directly absorb the pale gold elemental mist of the light attribute. In just a short while, she had absorbed 3 clusters of pale gold elemental mist. Her body, which had become nearly tangible, was now vibrant with a bright gold hue, and pure light elemental energy continuously flowed into Long HaoChen's body through their contract. Long HaoChen was amazed to discover that, in this situation, his spiritual power was constantly increasing. While it wasn't very fast, it was much faster than normal cultivation. Unfortunately, Dream Paradise only opened once every 100 years, and it only remained open for 3 days. Otherwise, if they could cultivate in this environment, Long HaoChen believed he could reach the 7th rank in less than a year. They continued their journey, and as they walked, their moods gradually calmed. This place was truly beautiful. It was so beautiful that even a boy like Wan Yuanyuan couldn't help but exclaim, "If every mission could take place in an environment like this, we wouldn't need to rest at all." The various colored mists, set against the backdrop of rare plants, made it hard to see far into the distance. However, the comfortable and relaxed atmosphere made everyone feel like they wanted to stay forever. But Long HaoChen clearly didn't have that intention, not because he didn't appreciate the beauty here, but because he was more concerned about caier. Caier wasn't with him, and he felt a sense of emptiness. Suddenly, Long HaoChen halted, and he signaled his companions to stop with a hand gesture. He squinted his eyes, focusing his attention on something. There's a strong spiritual power fluctuation to the left in front of us. It seems like someone is in battle. Let's go check it out. Everyone, be sure to conceal yourselves and follow my orders, Long HaoChen said. At this point, a cold and determined look flashed in Long HaoChen's eyes. His companions had been brought here using the Tower of Eternity, and the demons were unaware of this. They had to ensure that the demons remain ignorant of it. Otherwise, it could potentially trigger another war between the Alliance and the demons. Therefore, before setting out, he had informed his companions that if they were discovered by the demons, they should immediately kill their opponents. This should take precedence over collecting spirit furnaces. They quietly moved forward, while Yuan Yuan released some spatial power to isolate the air around them, and Han Yu had silently summoned his evil eye. Long HaoChen's perception of faint spiritual power extends up to 1 kilometer. In a combat state, spiritual power fluctuations are intense, and he can sense them from at least 2 kilometers away. As they move forward, the shrubs and trees become denser, and gradually, the sounds of battle reach the ears of the group. At this moment, Long HaoChen stops in his tracks, makes a hand signal to his companions, instructing them to hide in place and await his command. Then he releases Blue Rain, Light Lotus on his own, takes up Light Punishment, dual-wielding swords, and stealthily moves in the direction from which the sound is coming. Though he's not an assassin, he can still conceal his presence, thanks to his precise control over spiritual power. As he gets closer, his perception becomes clearer, and it's right up ahead. He darts forward, quickly climbs up a tall tree. And during the ascent, he notices that even while climbing the tree, once he surpasses 5 meters in height, there's a solid pressure in the air that starts to affect him, causing his spiritual power to steadily deplete. However, he doesn't have time to worry about that now. When he gets close to the top of the tree, he peers through the dense foliage, and he finally sees who is engaged in the battle. One of them is a young demon with a fierce appearance, characterized by a ferocious appearance, arguably the ugliest among the 10 demons who entered this space. However, he is also the tallest of them all. He stands at a towering 3 meters tall, with a pair of large black wings on his back, a fiendish face, and he wields a heavy sword gleaming with blue flames. There's no need to ask, this individual is undoubtedly an important figure among the demons. He is representing the demon faction this time. However, his opponent is not a powerful human from the Temple Alliance, but rather a peculiar magical beast. This magical beast is equally massive and robust. It's actually a gorilla, with shiny black fur, and an even more robust physique than the demon. Its entire body emits a dense yellow light, and each of its attacks carries exceptional weight. The spiritual power fluctuations that Long HaoChen sensed earlier were mainly from its earth attribute. Now it has fully unleashed its form, and it's locked in a fierce battle with the young demon, either gaining a clear upper hand. It appears that both sides are evenly matched in terms of strength. Either of them is particularly fast, but their combat is exceptionally fierce, almost entirely relying on sheer strength. The gorilla's weapons are its 2 arms, and it clashes head-on with the young demon, resulting in a resounding clash of metal and iron with each collision. However, it's still its body rather than an actual weapon, and the young demon, armed with the blue flame sword, maintains a slight advantage in their exchanges, as each of his strikes leaves a mark on the gorilla's arms. Long HaoChen looks around their surroundings, and he immediately understands the reason for their battle. Not far from them, a gentle white light hovers in the air. This light is approximately the size of a human head, almost as if suspended on a piece of paper, and you can faintly see a 4-legged small cauldron within the white light, emitting a misty white light from within. It's a spirit furnace, and it's a rare one without any specific elemental attribute. What is a spirit furnace without an attribute? To give a simple example, Long HaoChen's holy guiding spirit furnace is one such example. These types of spirit furnaces are among the most balanced and neutral among all spirit furnaces. This means that individuals with any elemental affinity can absorb their power. Clearly, the demon was attracted by this spirit furnace, and the gorilla is the spirit furnace guardian mentioned by Ling Xiao. Each spirit furnace has a guardian, and only by killing the guardian or gaining their consent can one take possession of the spirit furnace. It's evident that the young demon is lucky. He encountered a spirit furnace he can use. Of course, one could argue that he's unlucky as well, because he met Long HaoChen here. Without immediately taking action, Long HaoChen quietly retreats, returning to the spot where he separated from his companions earlier. After giving them some brief instructions, he climbs back up the tall tree. There's no need for words, as he and Yating share a telepathic connection. Yating softly chants incantations, and a gentle golden light emanates, enveloping Long HaoChen. This is a major healing spell that Long HaoChen himself cannot cast. It's a single-target healing magic. However, he doesn't need to know how to cast it, as long as Yating can cast it for him. He gives Yating a thumbs up, and in a flash, Long HaoChen descends from the tree. Suddenly, there's an additional person, and both the massive gorilla and the young demon pause in their attacks. At this moment, a golden light shines, landing on the gorilla, which is the major healing spell that Long HaoChen had Yating prepare for him. Many times, actions speak louder than words. Long HaoChen doesn't know if the gorilla can understand his words, but he can convey his intentions through his actions. The major healing spell lands on the gorilla, and it rapidly heals dozens of wounds on its arms. Warm and pure light elemental energy flows, and as the gorilla looks at Long HaoChen with its fierce eyes, its demeanor softens considerably. Meanwhile, Long HaoChen charges towards the young demon. He entrusts his back to the gorilla. His body language conveys his trust in the gorilla, and he believes that the magical beast guarding the spirit furnace for Dream Paradise surely possesses considerable intelligence. At the very least, it should understand that he is helping it. The young demon lets out a low growl. Without saying a word, his blue flame sword emits a brilliant light. As he charges straight at Long HaoChen, his aura overwhelming. The scorching aura distorts the air, creating ripples, but Long HaoChen stands his ground without retreating, his dual swords crossed in front of him, executing a divine guard block. With a clear and crisp sound, golden light shines. Long HaoChen actually took half a step back. But through this strike, he also sensed his opponent's strength, which is at the pinnacle of the 6th rank. The power behind this sword strike is close to 10,000 spiritual energy. However, for Long HaoChen, this is nothing significant. He can compensate for the difference in spiritual energy with his skills and other abilities. The golden light of light revenge shines, and Long HaoChen takes a quick step forward with his left foot, his calf suddenly exerting force, and his whole body rushes toward the young demon like an arrow. The blue rain light lotus in his right hand has already transformed into thousands of golden lights that cover the opponent. It's the twin dragons of light rain. However, the young demon doesn't retreat a step. In the face of Long HaoChen's attack, he brandishes his blue flame sword in front of him, and a large blue light screen immediately ripples out. Long HaoChen's twin dragons of light rain strike against the blue light screen, creating ripples like water, yet they are all blocked. Is this radiant grade equipment? The blue flame sword is at least radiant grade equipment as well. The young demon's combat experience is obviously very rich. While blocking Long HaoChen's attack, his wings suddenly spread open behind him, and a fierce aura instantly erupts from his body, followed by the surprising transformation of an identical shadow to himself, charging directly at Long HaoChen. This shadow shines with intense blue flames, and the moment it activates, within a radius of 100 meters, the temperature rises sharply. The surrounding vegetation is scorched over a large area. Long HaoChen snorts coldly, but his charge remains unchanged, and he retracts the blue rain, light lotus, gripping the light punishment in both hands and executing a heavy chop. Dazzling golden light is completely imbued in the light punishment, and with a flash of golden light, the blue light shadow instantly splits into 2 halves, passing on either side of him. Then, suddenly, Long HaoChen's body erupts in golden light, and his golden wings suddenly extend with a powerful flap. Due to the incredible speed, he seems somewhat ethereal in the air. As the young demon's shadow attack is broken by Long HaoChen, he finally appears somewhat flustered, but he's not easy to deal with either. In a roar, he swings his blue flame sword forward, heading straight for Long HaoChen's light punishment. However, his thrust doesn't intend to block the attack from light punishment, but rather it's a move where both opponents perish. The length of the blue flame sword is nearly 6 feet, while Long HaoChen's light punishment is not even 4 feet long. They thrust simultaneously, and it's evident that Long HaoChen will be struck first. The young demon's mind is very clear, and in his sudden disadvantageous position, he makes an extremely correct choice. In fact, he has no other option, because the sharpness of Long HaoChen's previous Azura strike had already made him feel a great crisis. Moreover, Long HaoChen's successive strikes, connected at an astonishing speed, so fast that he couldn't react in any other way. If Long HaoChen had dodged, his attack would have been weakened. But if he hadn't dodged at this moment, the blue flame sword would have penetrated his body first.